Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's I've Been Playing. Today we're talking about Cult of the Lamb. Yes, I am very far behind. Cult of the Lamb is a roguelite dungeon crawler, sort of, slash management simulator. I don't really know what the technical term for it would be, but half of it is you creating a cult, and the other half is you going through dungeons, trying to find followers, trying to collect resources, trying to do all of that dungeon stuff, and collect, like I said, collect materials and gold and defeat the bosses so that you can reign supreme over everyone, presumably, to indoctrinate them into your Cult of the Lamb. Now, like I said, I am quite far behind on this game, or getting into this game. I know it's been out on PC for a while. I'm currently playing it on my PS5 just because, I don't know, that's what I happened to get it for. Actually, it might have been out earlier on console as well. What I'm trying to say is I waited for the physical release so I could get it from GameFly, just to try it out. And I'm really enjoying it. I played it for probably 8 hours straight the other day. It's really fun, and I just got sucked into it. So essentially, the game opens with you, the lamb, being prepared as a sacrifice, and I don't remember if you technically get sacrificed and then resurrected, or if you get saved. I think it's the first one, but you don't die, obviously, or you can't die because you keep getting resurrected, which is why you can go through the dungeons so many times, and it is a roguelike. But essentially, you get resurrected by this god being thing that has been chained up, and the other leaders who were presumably the ones trying to sacrifice you, you have to go kill them and become supreme cult leader because they are heretics, supposedly. I feel like there's more going on here than the game is telling me. Just a hunch I have that possibly things are not going to end well, but I don't know that yet. And right now I'm just building a cult, and I have like 13 followers, and it's pretty great. They all love me. So, like I said, the game is split into two parts. The dungeon crawl aspect is pretty standard, probably what you expect, except for the fact that the materials you're collecting are used to build your town, which doesn't generally seem to factor into roguelites. You're generally just doing the dungeon thing. You don't generally have certainly not a cult to look after. And it's really important you do that because, my god, I cannot get lumber to save my life. I can't build anything because I never have any trees, and it's driving me nuts. That's the one part of the game I'm not enjoying, is that I can never build anything because I never have resources, because I can't get enough resources to build things that would get me more resources, and I have to immediately use my resources to fix beds, because I don't know what these people do in their sleeping bags. I probably don't want to know, but they break all the damn time, and it's a pain in my ass. You can also collect gold. You'll need gold to build things, or obviously buy things. As you go through the dungeon, you go through a few different areas. It's not a linear dungeon. You can pick where to go, and each space or area of the dungeon will have something specific in it, so you can pick just fights. You can pick to go a direction that has a follower in it. You can go a direction that has resources for you, like food or lumber or stone. Sometimes there will be not exactly shops, but places where you can get things like tarot cards, which will give you special buffs or items or boosts of various types, or relics. Eventually you'll be able to collect relics as well, which will give you an extra attack. There are two different types of weapons. There are ranged weapons, or AoE, depends on the one you pick up, and you get a new one every time you enter a dungeon again. And you also have melee combat, obviously, swords, axes, claws on occasion. There are some claw weapons as well. So that's a large portion of that part of the game. The other part of the game, again, is maintaining your cult and building it up. If you ever have any frickin' lumber to do so, you'll have a shrine in the middle of town, and you'll collect devotion. I suppose, I don't remember what the word is. How can I never remember things about any game I'm playing ever? But you collect devotion from the shrine. Your followers can collect resources or just worship at the shrine, do some other stuff around your base, a farm as well. They can farm, do all sorts of stuff like that to kind of maintain your base as you're gone, as well as while you're there, obviously. So you can collect the devotion to unlock more buildings and other things. That's specifically the shrine in the center of the area. There's also a temple where you can collect devotion as well. If you deliver a sermon, you can also declare doctrines, which will give certain status effects to your followers, or will unlock a ritual you can perform to give different benefits instead, which will obviously improve and increase the mood around your base and things like that. And essentially you have to keep track of the faith level of your followers because they can dissent and try to turn others against you and revolt. The sickness level, because you have to clean up after them and make sure that there's no waste around or dead bodies, because they do eventually die of old age, and also after a certain point you can sacrifice them to get benefits, so you have to take care of that as well. And hunger, of course, which is fairly self-explanatory. And those are more resources that you can either collect while you're out and about in the dungeons, or you can, again, farm for them, but you have to get the seeds from the dungeons first. It's kind of a little bit of both system. You can also upgrade eventually, so more devotion you collect, the more things you unlock, the more you can upgrade your cult to a higher status, you can build better buildings. In theory, you can upgrade the shrine and the temple, mainly the shrine I think, so you can collect more devotion and get more things. The end goal, as far as I can tell right now, is to defeat the at least 4 big bosses. There are 4 areas you have to go through in each dungeon. There are 4 dungeons. Once you defeat each of the 4 mini bosses, then you can defeat the big boss of that area, kill them. That area is taken care of. You can always go back there for resources and things if you need to, but all of the enemies in that area will be more difficult, and obviously you've already defeated the main boss of that area, so I assume they don't show up. I haven't gone that far through those dungeons a second time. The one dungeon I've completed. So there are 4 main bosses, and then there's one door that as you defeat those 4 bosses, it unlocks as well, and I suspect there's a final boss, and I also suspect that is the end goal, is to defeat them and presumably establish yourself as god of everyone in this forest and supreme cult leader. As I said, I'm really enjoying this. Obviously, I wouldn't have played it for 6 to 8 hours more or less straight the other day if I wasn't enjoying it. The only thing I am not enjoying is the fact that it seems next to impossible to get lumber, and I don't know why, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and it's very annoying because I can't do anything. I can't build anything else. And like I said, I have to constantly fix beds because they don't have anywhere to sleep, and they get all angry and uncomfortable if they have to sleep out on the ground, even though right now they're literally sleeping on sleeping bags on the ground, which is not that much better. But they get all bent out of shape about it, and I can't send them to get wood because I don't have enough wood to build the thing that would let me send followers out to collect resources because I don't have resources. It's a pain, and if anyone has a good strategy to get lumber when I have no trees on my lot and I cannot find lumber in the dungeons to save my life because it only comes up once in a while and I immediately have to use it on freaking sleeping bags most of the time, please let me know, because I am having so many issues, and they're all because I can't find trees. There's no surprise this game got so popular and kind of was a surprise hit, I think, for everyone, but it's really fun. I'm really enjoying it. I think if you're better at managing resources than me, you'll probably have a better time than I am, but that said, I'm not actually disliking the game as a whole. I just wish I could build more, because it would be nice to have outhouses and the missionaries so I can send them out to get more resources and I can actually have wood for once. But that's my experience with Cult of the Lamb thus far. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.